let's go ahead and jump into this then. Let's see what Full Impression from IGN have to say for Bloodlines. Let's see if we can actually see some like proper RPG mechanic, or maybe get any more insight in what exactly is fully happening here. Because like we know stuff, but a lot of it is not, like, the pieces are not connecting yet, so let's do that.
It was almost surreal awakening as an ancient monster in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and getting my first taste of blood. Fire the Nomad, a semi-customizable character with a fixed
so we
backstory,
all in the box,
has been asleep for 100 years when she wakes up in modern Seattle.
I have been asleep for 100 years.
And I feel like I've been thinking about this game for almost as long. From its
yes.
announcement in 2019, through multiple delays, development woes, a sort of soft cancellation, and an almost complete reboot under the Chinese room, it really is an undead game.
We will talk about that in a moment.
It allowed me to answer my big question. Was it worth waking up from an eternal slumber for? So far, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay. Elaborate why?
First things first, the Chinese Room is not the studio I would have drafted to make a sequel to one of the most beloved cult hit RPGs of the early 2000s. They made a name for themselves with what are sometimes disparagingly called walking simulators and linear first-person horror games like Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, and Still Wakes the Deep. But this is genuinely a free-roaming open-world spectacle, albeit on a modest-sized map once you get out onto the city streets.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's not just smoke and mirrors. I wasn't able to capture my own footage, by the way, and in the footage the developers sent over, they picked a different gender, clan, and disciplines from what I played with, so I won't be able to directly show off every power I'm talking about.
That sucked that they weren't able to capture it on
I was impressed with the level of freedom my vampire had to climb up utility ducts and fire escapes, leap from rooftop to rooftop, glide down moody alleyways, and, of course, engage in the time-honored vampire tradition of dropping a very long way without taking any fall damage. It's not safe to do all of these things in front of Seattle's many mortal citizens, though, as it will start to fill up a masquerade meter that can result in a game over if you hang around or leave too many witnesses. I found that system to be a bit too forgiving in the demo. You can chow down on someone in the middle of the street. It was pretty forgiving in the original game as well. As long as you run away fast enough, you'll suffer no consequences. But it's nice to see a nod to one of the setting's most fundamental rules.
I would say I
Humans
never
can't
dealt with
be allowed to know that vampires exist.
Issues in the original game, so
dropping in for a nice, sticky hemoglobin smoothie has two main purposes in Bloodlines 2. Mortals serve as mobile healing potions, and they also recharge your vampiric disciplines, special abilities tied to each vampire clan. This isn't...
Okay, so far, that is technically a mechanic from the actual tabletop as well. Since, depending on what ability you use, it will drain your blood, and you having to get blood back to be able to use more ability with a chance of becoming more and more hungry. I'm kind of curious to see if, like, on that end, will they keep the wage that happen when your blood get too low? So I wonder if that's still going to be a thing where you go into like a berserk mode.
Really a survival game in the sense that your bloodthirst won't naturally increase over time, but I felt like I needed to feed often enough that it never became something I could ignore, which is good. There's an interesting blood resonance system too, in which characters feeling a certain emotion, fear, anger, or lust, can be encouraged to indulge in it depending on your clan, which gives you a currency for unlocking certain disciplines when you feed on them in that elevated state.
Wait. Okay. So we are not doing... That's an odd mechanic. Like, cause in the tabletop is like, when you quit your vampire, usually you will have like a type. So it would be either like visually thing like eating only on like blonde heads as example, or wanting to eat on, you know, people that are killed, maybe also, you know, high on drugs or whatever. You know, it doesn't like preferences you could do. And obviously in tabletop that is designed to be there to like guide you into like doing certain thing that may or may not, you know, make the game more complicated, more interesting, I guess I should say. So yeah, it's good to see they keeping that, but I would not put it on like an upgrade system though. You know, I would have done it more along the lines of like, you know, if you say you only want to eat off homeless people, if you do that, it would completely, you know, heal your like blood stack. But if you eat off someone that's not homeless, it would only like fill it up maybe like 10% or 20%. You know, to put more like restriction on having to do certain type. You would think that would the way that mechanic would have translated the gameplay. You would think, but that interesting to know they are at least somewhat referencing this. But yeah, the Challenge for Bloodline 2 are living up to the fourth game. However, it's still the same. No, not the same dev. No. They brought originally what happened with Bloodline 2 is they brought back a whole bunch of the original like vitals Bloodline 1 and a few game dev from Bloodline 1 that are still, you know, around. But ended up there was a whole thing that went down like if I remember right, it was a whole bunch of like financial issue, a whole bunch of Wapman stuff. There was some stuff of one of the if I remember right, one of the lead vital ended up becoming a like super big Trump supporter, and that came with all the racist side. It was like a whole thing. And last night I heard, if I remember correctly, there was like a lawsuit happening between like, you know, Paradox and some of the vitals and stuff over this. Because, you know, they ended up, Paradox ended up technically, as IGN talked about, like did technically assault cancellation and moved it to a different dev. So now it's the same devs that made like Still Awake, Amnesia, whatever, something pig. I don't remember the name of that sequel. But yeah, they're totally different dev now. So yeah. I don't know. Like I said, like I'm gonna play this. I hope it's good, but yeah, I was saying a little bit ago, just like yeah, it'll a lot, like a really big shadow for the game to try to live up to or surpass, depending. I don't think it's gonna do either, but I am elite hoping it'll be good though.
As a Toreador, I loved seducing someone into a dark alley before taking a bite, and it creates a feeling that your vampire has a favored type of mortal to prey on. You can also feed in combat on enemies that are near death, which is a bit on the forgiving side due to how fast it is. I didn't feel like I was putting myself at serious risk by pausing for a snack.
I'm trying to remember, like the original Bloodline, I could be wrong here, but wasn't the original Bloodline you could only feed up the enemies if they did not know you were around? I might be getting that confused with Fawn Song, but yeah, I want to say that was a thing. I could be wrong though, but I feel like it was only if they did not know you were around.
The combat is probably the weak link here, at least from the handful of hours I've been able to play.
Kind of wasn't the fourth game.
I'll allow for the possibility that I just haven't gotten the hang of it yet. But I ran through the whole thing as a Blood Mage Tremere.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it is with the clan. Okay. Yeah, because I had the main thing there of like the combat. The combat was my biggest worry going into that, but then again, like I said, the combat wasn't that great in the original game either while you was using guns. But yeah, is this all the clans? So we got Anna, or not Anna, Bruja, Tremere, Hakeem, which is what we will be playing with Sam, because that is Sam clan. Ventru, Sombra, and yeah, Toreador. Yeah, I'd be kinda like, man, I would say probably, maybe this is my bias, but like the only two clans here that really have ever interested me would be Hakeem, just because, you know, in general, that interesting clan, which is one of many reasons why Sam picked it. And oh god, oh, the name is escaping me right now. Why is the name escaping me? I just literally said it. The one that looked like a crown symbol. It's late. My mind is always melting on me. It will come back to me in like a quick second.
And a seductive Toreador. That last one, along with the La Sombra,
A Sombra. That's what it was. Jesus, quiet chat. A Sombra. Well, the other one that I like, to be honest, I will probably play a Sombra, and then when we played it with Sam, like I said, she would be Hakeem.
A day one DLC that comes with the premium.
What? Wait, it locked behind a paywall?
Edition. And in each case, it felt like...
Wait, how much is that? How much is that version? Oh, that is mean. Okay. I did not know
combat
that.
In particular was a bit imprecise and chaotic. I tried it out with mouse and keyboard as well as a controller, and the latter was definitely better, but I found myself really wishing for more of a hard lock-on. It's also a little disappointing that you can only use weapons, including guns, by way of telekinesis.
Yeah.
I get that fire is older than modern firearms, but being a vampire with a katana or sweet-ass dual pistols is an iconic vibe that just isn't featured in Bloodlines 2.
Dude.
Kate Beckinsale.
Okay, that is kind of disappointing. It disappointing mainly because, like, the thing is about, like, any with you being a vampire, a like gun and like melee weapon, it's such a inclined thing in Bloodlines. I thought, like, you know, being like a big deal. Like pretty much any vampire you can think of at least have some type of like gun or melee weapon. So yeah, the telekinesis thing to kind of make it feel like I don't know. It just from like the gameplay we have seen of the gun combat, it very much seemed more like pick up throwaway type of stuff instead of being something you can actually like back into.
Sale would weep. In fairness, combat was by far the weakest part of the original Bloodlines, so I won't hold that against it too much. Things do start to pick up as you unlock more disciplines, with your core clan line being the cheapest in terms of skill points.
I want to see the leveling.
Cross-clan disciplines with keywords like celerity that your clan specializes in, getting a moderate discount. But there's nothing stopping you from learning any discipline you want, other than that out-of-clan non-affinity.
Oh, here we go.
Disciplines are very...
Okay, hang on. So yeah, so just dude, okay, that kind of disappointing. So just like a normal like gamey Skeletor kill tree. Yeah, it's safe to say I kind of feel like what I'm feeling about this is like, well, the original Bloodlines, I feel like we're trying to like mimic I get the only thing stopping it would be like Dice Worlds of like mimicking, you know, the actual tabletop, or at the time, you know, as Cole said, I get they could do. And that one just feel like we're just doing more like, oh, we're making a video game instead of making, you know, a campaign that just happened to be a video game. So that is disappointing. I was really hoping for like dots and stuff. And also the other thing I loved about Bloodline 1 was the ability to technically, and not fully obviously, but you know, it was like a step in the direction of playing Bloodline, making your character, making your stats, and then with a few little adjustments here and there, you know, being able to kind of like take it and do it in actual tabletop as well. And yeah, just sad that that had gone.
Very expensive. As a Tremere, I could lure enemies into a group by boiling a target's blood, causing them to scream, then placing a curse on them to turn them into a volatile blood bomb, and finally hitting them with a telekinetically thrown bottle to make them explode and take out an entire room at once. This is absolutely sick, nasty, amazing the first couple times, but it does get repetitive. It feels more like a gimmick than a playstyle after a little bit. The Bruja and the Toreador are a bit more like traditional melee fighters, which I ended up vibing with better in the long run. Toreadors also get a neat blink ability and the power to temporarily turn an enemy to your side with a kiss.
Would you kill Detective for a cigarette?
Where the Chinese room has always excelled, though, is in atmosphere, and there's no exception here. Neon-lit alleys, spooky warehouses, and decadent hotel suites are dripping with small details. I really applaud the way the reticle changes when exploring as well, letting you know that there are undiscovered secrets somewhere nearby without simply telling you where they are. That way, searching the dark corners is still a fun challenge, but I can also satisfy my inner obsessive completionist that when the circle turns back into a dot, I've found everything there is to find here.
Just keep playing the game like you did and you'll be fine.
The story is compelling and filled with memorable characters, as well as top-notch voice acting for the main cast.
I feel like, honestly, White Hill is the main reason why, like, Chinese Room got picked to be the dev to pick up the Ashes of 2. Which, in return, I do agree is kind of the strongest point as a dev. So, because like I said, going into it, when they originally announced it as being the reboot dev, was like, story, writing, and character will probably be fine. Everything else is questionable. And I feel like, you know, I would pretty accurate, leap from what it's seeming like anyway.
And what did you two discuss?
We don't know at the start why Fire has suddenly been awakened, or what's up with the mysterious symbol on her hand limiting her powers.
Oh, that is not my hand.
But the Prince of Seattle has recently been assassinated, there's a loose cannon vampire sheriff ripping out spines, and, oh yeah, a Malkavian police detective living inside our head.
Okay, they're Malkavian, okay.
I was a vampire, like yourself.
Fabian, who is every part the hard-boiled film noir hero until you notice the fangs, somehow ended up sharing Fire's brain meat. Certain flashback sequences are played
We're not going to
from his
elaborate on that, are we?
technically making Malkavian the final playable clan. So far, these segments don't include combat. All of his disciplines are geared towards solving mysteries, like the ability to compel someone to tell him what they're leaving out of their testimony. I found these investigations to be an interesting change of pace. Overall, I didn't really know what to expect from Bloodlines 2, given the long shadowed path it took to finally wrested by undead talent, but leading with a well-written and well-voiced mystery story that let me explore my urban hunting grounds with cool movement abilities has me intrigued, to say the least. I don't love the combat so far, and the Masquerade system seems a bit too forgiving, but I'm thirsty to spend more time with it. It's a very different sort of game from the original, but I dare to hope it may be something genuinely special.
Tell me your story, and we shall see if we are friends or not.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 will be released to stock the night on October 21st. For more on the latest upcoming games, don't miss our recent hands-on looks at Ninja Gaiden 4 and Marvel Cosmic Invasion. And for everything else in the world of video games, sink your teeth into IGN.
Yeah, it kind of honestly seemed like a lot of this is kind of my worry going into it. As well as, yeah, I think the whiting and stuff is fine. But I don't know how I feel about the ensemble thing. Let's see real quick. Well, is it on theme? How much is it? We gotta figure this out now. Yeah, Bloodline 2. Yes, I'm old. Show me the price tag. So it's 70? Wait, is it the deluxe edition? Can we see what is in each version? Is that something we can see? Let's see. Launch. Maybe it'd be in here? Or maybe not. Because I wanted to see the Zap breakdown of like what is in what version. But it doesn't look like we're going to easily find that, are we? That's disappointing. Ah, okay, never mind. We found it. We found it. Okay, let's see this. Let's see the chart. What are we getting? So, bait game. Okay, so this is breaking up, because this is the each version, right? So, deluxe edition and premium edition is what we are looking for, huh? So playable clans. Man, this is very confusing, I gotta say. So, because it doesn't actually fully say of like, you know, what is in each edition. Could we do guide? Yeah, because we got a Samba heel, a Samba, full Samba outfit. Wait, in Toyodor? Wait, in Toyodor also locked behind a paywall? Oh, okay, I see how this operates. Okay, maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe it is confusing. Okay, we're going by the Disney Portal uphill. So, Standard Edition is just the base game. Deluxe Edition will be, let's see, a clan new long collection. Stop sign. We'll be a stop sign. I know why it's a stop sign, but okay, that's a little funny. So yeah, it looked like a Samba and Toyodor both. It locked behind a $90 price tag. Cause how many clans was in that IGN video? What are the clan lists? There it is. So it's literally 4 clans. Only 4 clans out of the gate. So you are paying a extra, what is that, 20 bucks? Yeah, 60, yeah, so you're paying $20, so you're paying like $10 for the other clans. That is super disappointing. Cause that is, depending on how the writing is, and depending on, like, the character abilities, that could be a lot of content locked behind an extra $20 paywall. So, that's not great. So what do we actually get? Well, if you pre-order or get a Bloodline, a jukebox. So wait, is it like a thing for in-game, or is it just like you getting the soundtrack? We will see, because what are the requirements on that right now? 3060 is the requirement. So he're hoping this isn't just a digital-only PC pre-order thing for this. But 90 bucks is a lot. It's a lot for realistically what the game probably going to be, you know, all things considered, but we will see. I am excited for it. We will find out come October. Is it worth $90 and is locking 2 whole clans? So almost double the clan behind an extra $20 paywall. We will see, I guess. But either way, I will still stay up to date with this the best of my ability, and we will see. Since it still is my most hyped game of the year, and I'm still just hoping for the best at the end of the day.